All right, what's going on, guys? So in the last video, I talked about some of the daily stuff that you should be doing every day. Notably, you want to be doing at least 1 or 2 quests every single day. You want to be making sure you're doing a little bit of money making just so you can eventually buy a bond. Something else you need to be doing are your dailies. Now, if you press F3 on Windows, I don't know what the keybind is if you're not on Windows. So if you're on Mac or Linux, I can't help you. But whatever the function 3 button is, this will bring up these daily challenges. Now, this gave me basic challenges. You need to do the basic challenges before you get proper daily challenges. It asked me to fish 6 crayfish and cut 4 logs. Now it wants me to mine uncut gems from the common gem rocks in Burthrope. So we're just going to do that here. Now, the basic daily challenges are designed to be completed in Burthrope. So the main starting area, that's where you're going to want to complete all of these. Should take no more than 5 minutes. I'll be very surprised if it took anyone more than 2 minutes. Now it's going to ask us to do more of these basic ones. These are just processing, so we can do these really quick here. Again, this whole thing should probably take like 5 minutes. Again, be super surprised if it took much longer than that. So we'll leave here. It says it wants to do basic fire making, so we will light a log here. We'll use 1 log on this to add it to the bonfire. That completes our fire making one. We'll click off so we don't add more. Now we will cook these crayfish. It wants us to cook 3 of them, so we'll cook 3. Now, something that happens when you're cooking is you can burn food. If you burn food, you don't get XP for it. I burned a lot of this. That is not good. I burned literally all of it. Okay, well, that's just terrible. In the meantime, let's craft these with the knife. We will make these arrow shafts. Okay, so that's the fletching challenge done. I'll be back once I successfully cook the rest of this food. Who knows how long it's going to take. Okay, so we finally finished. It only took 11 to make 3, so that's really good. So now it wants us to mine 6 clay, and then we're going to turn that 6 clay into any unfired pottery. So that's fine. We'll just do that really quick. Again, it's only going to take a little while, so I will be back in a second. Once you get this clay, you do want to turn it into soft clay. And the way you do that is by using the clay on any water source. I believe there's a well right outside of here. So I'll actually just take you there, so I won't be right back. But yeah, just surge over here. Should be a water source right out here. Yeah, so on this well, you just use the clay on this well. We'll get 6 wet clay. Then we'll go on form pottery wheel, and we just need to make 6 things. So we'll make 6 unfired pots. And then we will cut these gems. And that should be it for all of our basic dailies, right? Yep, okay, so that is all of our basic dailies. So this is the daily interface. Again, that took like 5-10 minutes. Let me see. Yeah, I started doing this 5 minutes ago. So to do all of our dailies took like 5 to 6 minutes. So now we have our daily challenges. You see we have daily mining, daily smithing, and daily crafting. This will rotate between any skill you do not have at level 99. For you guys, that's going to be all of your skills. And once you complete this, you will get a pretty big chunk of XP, and you'll get a reward from this top or from this bottom shelf. This bottom stuff is all the stuff that's available for non-members. What's on top is what's available for members. You will also get a pretty big chunk of XP, so it is highly worth doing all of this. It will actually just go and mine 5 iron real quick to show you how much XP I'm getting. I am 24 mining, so it's probably going to be a little bit more than what you guys are getting if you're less than 24 mining, but it's not. It shouldn't be so much less that it's not meaningful. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. We did our 5 mining. I will hit claim, and we got 1,000 XP, which is 2 mining levels. That's pretty good. That's not bad. The XP is going to be more meaningful on your lower level skills, but even on your lower level skills, it's going to easily jump you from, 2 crafting to 6 or 7. So yeah, you want to make sure you do your dailies every single day. It's really good XP, and the other rewards you get aren't nothing, right? Like a small cash bag is fine. Cinder cores are fine once you're a member, and Adamants are whatever. Like none of this stuff is just bad. So want to make sure you do all of your dailies. Let me bank all of this. Okay, so now that we know what we need to be doing every single day, what else should we be working on? What I would say is you should be working on training your skills. Now, there are many members quests, I would say the vast majority of them, that have a skill requirement, meaning that you're going to want to train up your skills anyways for those quests. But beyond that, there's also a lot of overlap between a low-level training for all of the non-member skills and the members' methods. So for instance, the way you train mining and smithing is exactly the same in members to non-members from 1 to 60. It's exactly the same. Same thing is true for woodcutting, for instance. The way you train it in members and non-members is the same from 1 to 30, arguably 1 to 50, depending. For fishing, it's same to 1 to 52, so on and so forth. Consequently, you're going to want to do all that training in non-members. You don't have to. Obviously, you can wait until you're a member to do a lot of this training, but I figured because it is available to non-members and these are also the most efficient methods for non-members, I would just show you where you can go about doing it. So the first skill we're going to talk about is, well, the first skills are mining and smithing. Now, the way you train these is you mine ore. So, copper and tin for bronze bars until level 10. Once you're level 10, you mine iron. You do that all the way to 20 until you can mine coal. You do that all the way to 30 until you can mine mithril, so on and so forth. You do that all the way up to 60. Now, how much you should mine is dependent on your smithing level. I will say right now that smithing will basically always be a lower level than your mining. That's just the way it's balanced. So you're always going to be mining more than you need for your mining level to make sure you get the smithing levels you need. Now, conveniently, in order to get these, it's actually relatively straightforward, at least to get to level 20. What you want to do is get an ore box. I bought a rune ore box with my first little bit of money. This is the highest level ore box for free to play. This cost me around 100k. If you want to buy this, you can. Otherwise, you can just make and upgrade your own. So what I did was from levels 1 to 10 smithing, because that's really how you should train mining and smithing, is you should use smithing as the thing that you're trying to level, and then mining you'll just get eventually. We did 100 copper, 100 tin in order to fill up the ore box. Then we did half our inventory with copper, half our inventory with tin. Once we did that, we went to the furnace, deposited all of it, made 113 bronze bars, and then we turned all of that into bronze plate bodies. That brought us to around 14 smithing. Then we did the same thing. We went in here and we mined iron, full ore box of iron, full inventory of iron. You can find the iron right here. And once we did that, we deposited all of it, turned all of that into plate bodies. That brought us to 20, which is very convenient because now we can move on to coal, which is what you use to make steel. Coal can be found in Barbarian Village. The fastest way there is the Edgeville teleport and run south. So we'll just do that run right now. Once you are here, there are coal rocks right here that you can mine, and then you just mine these. I don't know exactly how many of these you need, but there is math you can do. If you go on the wiki, it tells you how much XP each bar is effectively worth if you turn them into a plate body. You can use that to figure out how long it's going to take you to get to 30. If you want to be exactly sure, you can right click this and hit set level target and set it to 30. Tells us we need 8,800 XP. So now I will go on the wiki. On the wiki, it says that making steel nails is actually the best thing to do because it's also a profit. So once you're 20, you can do that. Something else you can do is complete the Knight Sword. Completing the Knight Sword gets you to 29 smithing. You can skip the whole early game smithing if you wanted to. It doesn't super matter because, again, you have to train your mining somehow. So you have to get it to 10, mining bronze and tin, and then you have to get it to 20, mining iron. So personally, because you have to do all of that mining anyways, I would say just do the mining, then do Knight Sword, then go back and catch up to wherever you are. But that's just me. Once you are 30 smithing, you will need Mithril and you will need coal. Now, Mithril you can find in the Varrock southeast and southwest mines. Again, coal is right here. So Mithril, we're going to teleport to Varrock now, and I'll show you where Mithril is. Okay, so there's a mining area right over here. You see there's iron, tin, and there's 1, 2, 3 mithril rocks right here. So that's another place that you can mine mithril. The west one is just this way. If you want to use the mini map, this mining spot is mithril and it's adamant, which is really nice. So obviously this is where you're going to go for adamant ore. Since the next thing we have to mine is adamant, I'll just walk you all over here. Once you're at 40 smithing, we're going to make adamant plate bodies. Again, the way you do that is with adamant that you find right over here. You can see here, this is the adamant rock. There's 3 of these. And then you want to go to the Dwarven Luminite mine, which is below Falador. So we will teleport to Falador. Also, all of this, I will put notations in the description so that you guys can find all of these things if you don't remember where all of it is. Now, do be aware that there are scorpions here which are aggressive, which can be pretty scary. I am a low enough level that they're aggressive to me and they can probably kill me. So is worth keeping in mind. You probably don't want to go here until you're a higher level. So train your combat up first before you actually start your adamant grind. But just so you guys know where it is, this is where it is. Go to Falador, go into the town, go east, go north, and then you'll go into this room. Climb down here. This is the Dwarven mine. You see these king scorpions are aggressive. And then the Luminite is right here in this corner. So that's where you want to go. These scorpions will blast you. So again, just be careful. But that's where Luminite is. And then once it's time to do rune ore, you do the Luminite down there. And you can actually go to the wilderness for the rune ore. I find that's the closest one to a teleport. Again, generally you don't want to be in the wilderness, but if I remember correctly, the skeletons near the rune ore aren't actually aggressive. Let me go there and we will find out. So you teleport to Edgeville, run north. These might be aggressive, I don't remember. Okay, so these skeletons are not aggressive, and this is where the rune ore is. So that is where all of the free-to-play ore is. Now you know where it is. That's how you're going to get 1 to 60 is just making play bodies. You can do the math yourself or use the wiki. Entirely up to you. Until you're 30. So if you do the Knight Sword first with 1 smithing, you can get to 29. Then you can do steel nails to 30. After that, it's just play bodies straight to 60. So, okay, now we have covered mining and smithing. You want to get both of these as high as they'll go. 60 is where I would say you're safe to stop because the free-to-play and members methods start to diverge at 60. Next is fishing. For fishing, you're going to want to go to Burthrope and do Crayfish up until you're level 20. Then you just want to cook all of those crayfish. Generally, your cooking is always going to be higher than your fishing because you should just be fishing everything you cook. Just the best way to get XP. So, just for completeness, I will show where crayfish is. So this is the crayfish spot. You just want to sit here until 20. Make sure you cook all of them. The easiest way to cook them is either cut your own fire from this tree here, or to just bank all of them and cook them all at once on a range. you cook them on a range, you do have a higher success rate. So that's worth keeping in mind. It is better cooking XP to cook them on a range. Now, once you are 20, we're going to go fly fishing, which requires feathers as bait. You can buy them from the store in Port Sarim, or you can just keep killing chickens for money and XP. That is an option. But in case you are going to buy them, you can go to Garant here. And you can just buy these feathers. So I need to do fly fishing at some point, so I'm just going to buy 1,000. And this should be a decent amount. If you need more, you can just buy them off the Grand Exchange, or you can get them yourself. Totally up to you. Now, you will do fly fishing from 20 to 52. And where you do this is Barbarian Village. So we'll go back to Edgeville, and I'll show you where the fly fishing spot is. So over here in this spot, this is where you're going to want to do all of your fly fishing. I recommend banking and then cooking all of these fish. You do not have to. This person is just dropping them. If you want, you can pick them up and then cook them yourself. It's up to you. I'm probably just going to leave these here because I don't have the cooking level for them anyways. But this is where you do fly fishing. You do this all the way to 52. Cook all of the fish. That will get you 52 fishing and probably pretty close to 60 cooking. Next is woodcutting. You can technically do woodcutting to 50, but there is a members tree that happens at level 30. So there is a decent enough reason to stop at 30. It's totally up to you. But you're going to do all of your woodcutting in Draynor. Now, the main reason you're doing this is because Draynor has regular trees. Regular trees up here. It has oak trees here, which is the level 10 log. And down here next to the bank, it has willow trees. So the willow trees are right here near the water. And you just want to do those until either 30, and then you can, wait till you're a member and do the level 30 tree, or more likely you do them until 50, because 50 is where we unlock one of the better members trees, which is Acadia. That's what I would recommend. You can just do all of your woodcutting in this area. You can get to 30 or 50. It's up to you. Now, in terms of what you do with your logs, it's entirely preference. The way you use logs is fletching. You can also use them for fire making, and you can also use them for construction. Because you're always going to need more logs than you're ever cutting yourself, it is entirely preference what you end up doing with them. So do whatever you want. I don't think there is a best or a worst method. If anything, using your own logs to fletch could bring in a little bit of money because you're not just deleting all of the money like you are with construction and fire making. So honestly, I would say to probably just fletch all of them, but it is entirely up to you what you do with your logs. Speaking of fletching, this is an interesting skill because technically the budget method for free-to-play and members are exactly the same all the way up until like 90. So that's an option. Keeping that in mind, if you're going to do the budget method, which is do arrow shafts to 25 and then make your highest level bow all the way to 90, don't go to 90 because that's going to take forever, but that is 100% viable to just do that as high as you feel is necessary. If you want to match your other skills, getting it to around 50 or 60 is totally fine. One of the better members fletching methods is broad arrows, which I believe you want to lock at 52. Yeah, so you want to lock these at 52. So if you want, I would say 52 is a good stopping point, but technically you can go all the way up to 90. It's up to you. The next skill we're going to talk about is runecrafting. Now, for runecrafting, you're going to want to go to RuneSpan for all of your runecrafting. Again, we're in Draynor Village. We're just going to go south since it's right here. This is the Wizard's Tower. We're going to right-click this beam and go to top floor. Then we're going to click on this green low-level RuneSpan. Now, the way you do this is you collect floating essence here, and then you just want to siphon these air esslings. At least when you're level 1, you want to siphon these. Whenever these die, they'll give you more rune essence, which is how you maintain your essence here. And then these things that are on the ground, these just spawn and despawn. This is where you're going to get the bulk of your XP. These are going to depend a lot on just what level you are. So the Cyclone, this is the air one. So you can siphon it at level 1. Mindstorm is mine. You could siphon that at level 1. And then you can move to all the different islands if you have the rune crafting in order to do so. So I need to be able to craft earth runes to be able to cross this. I can't do that yet. But yeah, this minigame, just experimenting with it, it makes a ton of sense once you're actually here. But this is what you're going to do up until around 27. That's when you start facing a bottleneck on the runes that you're allowed to craft. 27 is the first members rune. You can go beyond that if you'd like, but 27 is a decent enough stopping. So these keys are for Treasure Hunter. Treasure Hunter is the microtransaction aspect of this game. I would say to stay far away from Treasure Hunter on your own, but if the game it gives you keys and you get 1 key every day, just do it. This is the current promotion. It gave me a bunch of training dummies. This is actually really good because this is going to let me train my combat skills without having to sit at chickens all day. But I would say just claim whatever this gives you, and then that's it. Just close it. Unfortunately, there isn't really a way to get rid of this, and it does pop up relatively often, so it's relatively invasive, but it gives you free stuff. Just don't spend any money on it. It's not worth it. Now, the next skill we're going to talk about is crafting. What I would say for crafting is to just do gem cutting. You want to do gem cutting all the way to 55 because this is when you unlock dragon stones. You can make armor if you wanted to. There is absolutely nothing wrong with getting cow hides and making armor. That's totally valid. Gem cutting is generally going to be faster, and it also trains your mining at the same time because you mine them from gem rocks, or you can just buy them. It's up to you. If you are going to buy them, I wouldn't buy anything under sapphire because these can all break. And if they break, you get basically negligible XP. That's bad. Everything sapphire and above cannot break. So if you want to buy sapphire and above, you're more than welcome to. But that's what I would say is do whatever you want until 20 and then gems all the way to 55. Now, once you are able to mine gems, you want to go to gem rocks. And the way you get to gem rocks is you teleport to Al-Kharid. And I believe you run north. I'm pretty sure these scorpions are aggressive, but I don't actually remember. I hope not. That makes this really annoying. Okay, they're not aggressive. That's actually really nice. So once you can mine the uncommon gem rocks, you just come here and mine these. It will give you, I believe, only gems that you can actually mine. So you unlock more gems through the mining level. But this will give you only sapphires, so you can unlock emeralds, then emeralds and sapphires, so you can unlock rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and rubies until you can unlock diamonds, and then it caps at diamond. So this is going to be the best way to acquire gems besides just buying them. If you want to just buy them, you're more than welcome to, but mining them here is very, very good. Now, because gem mining is so good, it's okay mining XP and a really good crafting XP. The last skill you're going to want to train is Dungeoneering. Now, the tutorial should have taken you to Daemonheim, which is the Dungeoneering island, but in case it didn't, I will show you how to get to Daemonheim. So we're going to fast travel back to Burthrope. Actually, I think Taverly is technically closer, but I already went to Burthrope. Definitely fast travel to Taverly. It's faster. Okay, so this is where the Taverly Lodestone is, so that's where it would go. So we go south here. And then we right click this guy and click sail. This will take us to Daemonheim. And then we run west. And this is where you train Dungeoneering. Now, Dungeoneering, I would say you want to get to 25 because that's when you unlock the gem bag. The gem bag can hold 100 total gems all the way up to diamond. Conveniently, that's very good for gem mining, which is, you know, really good mining XP, really good crafting XP. But once you are here, you talk to the Dungeoneering tutor. He will give you a Ring of Kinship. The Ring of Kinship just teleports you right here, and then you can start Dungeoneering. Whenever you go into a dungeon, you can only have the Ring of Kinship with you, so you have to bank all of your equipment. I'm not actually going to run through a dungeon because it's relatively time consuming and it's very straightforward. But you go in, and then this guy will tell you basically everything you know about starting a dungeon. You go in, you train to 25. Shouldn't take very long. If I remember correctly, early Dungeoneering is very, very quick. So you want to do Dungeoneering to 25. You can go higher if you want. But that is what I would say is good for you, is just get 25 to get your gem bag, and then you can get out of there. But yeah, that is all of the free-to-play skills that you should be training and how you should go about training them. Again, these things are important because there are a lot of members quests that have skill requirements, and a lot of those member quests are necessary for some of the later mandatory quests that you have to do. One of the big quest line finishers that gives you the huge reward that is valuable for every account requires 80 in a bunch of stats. So getting an early lead on this stuff and making sure that you're training your skills in some of your downtime, very, very important. The only other thing that we need to talk about is combat. And I already talked about using chickens to train. Because chickens is really good money for a non-member. Just doing chickens until all of your combat stats, all of your melee stats are 20. Honestly, all of your combat stats. Doing chickens until all of your combat stats are 20 is very, very good. After that, you want to move to the Stronghold of Security. I will show you guys where that is. That is also in Barbarian Village. So again, we're going to Edgeville. This guy is lucky I can't fight back. Trust me, the instant I have gear on when he's hitting me, he's getting blasted. But yeah, so we're going to Barbarian Village. Once all of your combat stats are level 20, that includes magic and ranged, you're going to want to go down here. This is the Stronghold of Security. And you're going to want to hit these Minotaurs, these Wolves, and that's pretty much it. You're going to stay here until all of your stats are 30. Once all of your stats are level 30, you're going to want to switch to Hobgoblins. Hobgoblins are going to be in the Hobgoblin Peninsula, which is north of Rimmington. So I will show you where that is. Okay, and Hobgoblins are right here. There's a bunch of them even further up. And once you are 40s in all of your stats, you want to get to 50 from Hill Giants. Now, Hill Giants are in the Edgeville dungeon, so we'll go back to Edgeville one last time. Now, to be clear, you can hold off on doing Dragon Slayer, which has a decent combat requirement until you're a member. If you do, you get access to a very powerful members training method that works from 1 to 99, which is Shattered Worlds. That's honestly what I would recommend. But if you're sure that you want to do your non-members combat training in non-members instead of waiting until you're a member, then this is the way that you would do it. So now to get into Edgeville Dungeon, you need a brass key. So I'm going to buy one because that's where I'm going to be doing my training. Since I'm probably going to finish all the non-members quests before I become a member, I haven't decided yet, but either way, I should just get a brass key just to have one. So we'll get a brass key, and then I will show you where it is from the Grand Exchange. Okay, so I just brought a brass key. This cost me 10k, which was an Omega scam, not worth it at all. But that's probably what you guys are going to have to pay just because these aren't super common. But once you have a brass key, you go in here. You need the brass key to open the door. And you go down here, and this is where hill giants are. So you can fight these guys, and then deeper in the dungeon, this guy's going to kill me, so I'm just going to leave. There is a resource dungeon over here, which you need 20 Dungeoneering to enter. If you do, there's just a bunch more hill giants in there, and it's relatively secluded, so that's an option. But yeah, that is all the combat training. Once you're level 50 and all of your stats, you should be more than strong enough to kill the boss for Dragon Slayer, and then that's the last for free-to-play quest. So yeah, that is how you train all of the non-member skills, including combat. The last thing we're going to talk about today is once you've made a little bit of money, how do you do more with your money? Now, what I would say is you want to make enough money to buy 2,100 blue Dragonhides. So this costs 1.6 mil. So once you have 1.6 mil from your cadaver berries, I would say, well, 1.7 mil. I would say 2 mil because you do need a little bit of a breather. But once you have enough to make 2,100 of these, you want to buy these dragon hides. Then you want to buy a portable crafter. These are 50k each. Or sorry, these are 5k each. I just had a stroke. And then what you want to do is you want to go to Lumbridge and set up a crafter right next to the bank. And you're going to withdraw all of these dry dragon hides, right click save on one of these presets. And then what you can do is you can hit load last preset on banker. It'll use all of these dragon hides. And then you click on the crafter and you can right click it to tan them. This is very, very, very good money. The main issue is that it has an upfront cost, right? You need to be able to spend the 1.8 mil on these in order to get your rewards, which is 2,100 blue dragon leather. Now, how much does that cost? So 2,100 blue dragon leather is 2.26 mil. So you make around a 460k profit for about 5 minutes of effort. This is obviously nuts. Again, the big bottleneck is that you need to be able to afford the upfront, but this is very good for a non-member. This adds up to about 9 mil an hour, especially if you stockpile all of these overnight. So once you can buy like 40 or 50,000 of these, that's something that you can do. But just to show you, this is what I've been doing. This is the moneymaker that I've been doing. So in order to find out how much you need to buy and sell everything for, this is what you do. Also, before we go on, the main reason you buy 2,100 is that's about how many you can tan on the portable crafter. Another thing to keep in mind is that these cost 20 coins each to tan. So you're making a little bit less than 460k. It's like 420k or so. But again, super, super good money for 5 minutes of work. Now, the way you find out how much you should pay is you type in blue dragonhide. And you go plus 20% and buy it. So 849 is what these are selling for. And then you go minus 20% and see what they're for. So this 799 number, or so sold, you see this is 815. You want to go one above this when you're buying your blue dragonhide. So you see down here, I bought 4,200 for 816. That's what you want to buy these for. It will take a little bit for it to actually buy. So I usually leave these in overnight, or if I'm going to go play a different game, you wait for these to buy. Once they're bought, you test blue dragon. So these insta buy for 1,150. So you want to sell these for 1,149. And that's what I did down here. I did these to test these, but that's what you want to sell these for. Now, this is called slow buying and slow selling, and the main reason you want to do this, you want to maximize your profits. Because these things have a buy limit, which is, I believe, 10,000. Because these have a buy limit per 4 hours, that means there's only a finite amount of these you can go through, even if you had infinite money. So because there's a finite amount of them, essentially you want to find out what your margin is and then get the absolute most out of your money. So if you do this properly, including the 20 gold from tanning these, you're looking at about $2.99 profit per each leather. That's really good. If you can do, your 10,000 over 25 minutes, that's 3 mil in 25 minutes. That's super good. Minus the 50K for the crafters, or minus the, I guess that would be 125K. That's 2.875 mil in 20 minutes. This doesn't get you any XP, but that's the best money you're going to be able to make in free to play. This is what I would do once you have a decent amount of money stockpiled. Again, the number I said earlier was 2 mil. That's a really good number to start with. And blue dragon leather is just super good for crafting. So this is pretty much always going to be super valuable. I guess this video could explode and then this method goes away. I'd be super surprised if that happened. But if you want to make money on for free to play, this is a good way to do it. If for whatever reason these margins end up getting really thin, you can try the other hides. So you can try green dragonhide, maybe red. I don't know if red is members. Let me actually check. So red dragon leather is members, unfortunately, but green dragon leather is non-members. So if blue dragonhide isn't working, you can try green dragonhide. But yeah, this is what I would do once I have all of my money this is what I would do once I have about my 2 mil from cadaver berries. Just do this as much as you have the energy for. It is very click intensive, but the money is so good that I personally don't mind doing it. Normally what I do is I get on, do 5-10 minutes of this, do something else. And then you can just do that, a few times a day, and that's pretty good money, With the amount I have in my bank, this is just 600K profit over 10 minutes. I can do this 10 times a day. Just, I'm home working on something. Okay, I'll do 10 minutes of Dragonhide. Oh, I actually have a lot of time right now and I feel like pretty motivated to work on money. I'll do, an hour of it. But yeah, between this, I still do a couple cadaver berries every day. This is going to be how you're going to make your money to get to your 135 mil to eventually buy a bond. If you want to make more than that, you're more than welcome to, because there are a few expenses you want to cover basically as soon as you become a member, which is going to cost around 150 mil. Members opens up a ton of way better money makers, even with the relatively low stats. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but this is something that you can do. And this is what I would recommend you free to play players do so that you can make some money, start buying bonds. Now, maintaining the bond every 2 weeks sounds scary, but trust me, once you become a member, bringing in 135 mil a week or every 2 weeks, a lot easier than it sounds. But yeah, this guide was relatively expansive, but hopefully this helps you guys get your skills up so that when you do become a member, you're good to go. You have a really good grasp on a lot of these skills. You have a good grasp on combat. Again, if you are going to pay for membership with real money, I would highly advise training combat and free to play and just save Dragon Slayer until afterwards. But if you are going to train it, I've showed you how you can do it. But yeah, I think I'm just rambling now, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.